Why isn't it playing? Seriously, why is it not playing? Oh my God.
Did you break it?
I guess. Welcome to the Random Kristian
Hey,
Show.
all right, here we go. It's Tuesday afternoon. You know what that means. It's time for Randominity with the Random Kristian Show. Today, Kristian welcomes professional hypnotist John Moyer. Brought to you by Neil Getzlow's book, Unmasked, Conquering Sexual Sin and Walking in Victory. Order your copy now at neilgetzlow.com. Use the code RANDOM for a 10% discount. Also brought to you by the final stand of Consolidated Skateboards. Go to consolidatedskateboards.com right now to get your hands on the final bits of inventory from this great skateboard shop. Thank you, Consolidated Skateboards, for everything that you do and everything that you did for this sport.
Yay!
Intro music provided by The Dead Campers. Check them out at deadcampers.com. That's campers with a K. On the show next week, your guess is as good as mine. I think it's just going to be Matt, Kristian, and Andy with a little round table for Kristian after his surgery. Plus, random questions of insanity with us as always is the voice in our heads, Matt. My name is Andy, and now here's your host, Man So Random. He's going to have a different hip next week. Kristian Random.
Or they could just be adding on an extra head that has knowledge of technological things, and we won't have these problems.
That would be cool. That would be very cool.
See, apparently what happened here was the stand that I normally put the iPad that has the soundboard on broke.
Yes.
In my redoing of the studio. And so the cord was halfway in and out. So, anyway, on its new monkey butt stand. Welcome to the Random Kristian Show.
Heyo.
It's Tuesday.
Nothing but the best.
How are y'all? Andrew, thank you very much. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you? How you doing? You doing okay? Pre-surgery jitters? Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. We're all good here. How are you?
So just remember, these guys are professionals. They know what they're doing. Now, I want to tell you this funny story. So I had to accompany my mother to get surgery on her foot, right?
Right.
And I don't know that I've ever accompanied anyone to a major surgery before, so this was my first time. So anyway, the doctor's telling me what's going to happen, right? Meanwhile, I see one of the nurses marking my mother's right foot.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, oh, okay. What are you guys doing? Oh, we're just marking it to make sure we operate on the right foot.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
This is a problem, I guess.
Right? Yeah. That apparently it can be.
Yeah. So anyway, so he goes through the little spiel, and now there are 4 guys around us, right? The doctor who's going to do the surgery, the 4, I think, nurses, right? And they're like, okay, so your final goodbye. So I'm like, Mom, have a great surgery. Guys, remember the right foot.
Yeah, because I was going to say, you don't know how many times I've been asked, which hip or what are we doing? Okay, which hip? And I'm like, why do you all keep asking me which or what we're doing and which hip? After I tell them, it's my right hip, they're like, okay, which hip again? I'm like, the right hip. And they're like, okay, well, we just make sure you know. And I'm like, I'm not sure that that's the point of this. At this juncture, I'm pretty sure.
Is there going to be a shift change during my surgery? Like, are you gonna, one guy going to start, and someone else going to finish, and you just want to make sure that you're, hey, he's started on the right hip, but I thought we were working on the left hip. Let's just do the left hip too.
It's going to be like a tag team. They're going to be like, and now entering the ring. Oh, he didn't make the tag. He's halfway through the hip. No. Oh no. There'll be somebody in there trying to stop him and flying off the top rope with the elbow. And,
yeah.
And then they all of a sudden, he's doing the wrong hip. Now he's doing the knee. Oh, good God. It's mayhem.
Yeah. But I mean, we talked about this last week a little bit as we were going off the air, but I think, I think that our guest today is sort of a good guest, pre-surgery guest, because, like, there are those times where you just wish that you were just sort of like zonked out and hypnotized and not sort of dealing with it. And I think you hit the nail on the head with our top 12 list this week of the top 12 reasons you need to be hypnotized.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And yeah, we came up with some goodies. And alluding to that note, there was when the anesthesiologist came in, was asking me questions.
Mhm.
First off, they said, so we have two different ways we can anesthetize you. And she's like, the first one is usually what people go with. It's where basically you're numb from the waist down. So it's like you're paralyzed. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, yes. And she's like, well, let me finish. And then they give you a shot to, knock you out, but
Right.
or they put a drip in and to knock
Okay.
you out. But then the other ones where they put a tube down your throat and they do all this, I'm like,
Uh-uh.
no,
No.
I'm good with just,
Yeah.
I don't want to know anything.
Right.
And
Yeah.
she's like, okay, that's basically what everybody opts for. And I'm like, oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, I want to be the guy going, wait, what happened?
Right.
Oh,
Like
whoa.
I want
This
to
is
fall asleep with two hips, and then I want to wake up with two hips. That's what I want to do.
preferably two working hips at
Right.
this
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
If you could make that happen, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. So, and yes, I am, I've got, I know it's pretty standard operation and all that, but
I-
I still have my jitters. It's the first
Oh
time I've
yeah.
ever done a major, operation like this. And, so yeah,
Yeah. No, I mean, you can't help but get a
I'm
little freaked
apprehensive.
out. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, you can't help but get a little freaked out when, when you go in for a major surgery like that, when they're going to cut in, move stuff around, put something else in, and then
Right.
reattach everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
And
just,
then
yeah.
I don't want to be, this guy right here. Yeah.
Right.
So, and then I don't want to hear in the
We'll do it
background.
live. Okay. We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
That'll be my doctor.
There you go. There you go.
Wait a minute. What happened to the anesthesiologist?
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do
I
it
had
live.
to
I know. I love
yeah,
it.
I had to zip out the F-bomb in there.
Oh, old Bill was just not in a mood that day.
No.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's it's all good. And yes, I did inspire me to come up with this top 12 list. That, by the way, Andrew, I gotta say, some of these are genius that
Thank
you
you.
came up with. I really kind of feel mine are so subpar at this point. So yeah, we every week we try to compile a top 12 list that is fairly topical with our guests and conversations that we're having. So this week we are doing the top 12 reasons you need to be hypnotized. And I should have
I'll start here. Woo!
There we go. Sorry, had to
Number 12, your spring break festivities south of the borders took you to a seedy cantina where you where you asked why there was a donkey on stage to a local. Then the music started, and now you need that erased from your memory banks.
because that's yeah. Everybody's feeling sad after a while, not only for themselves but for the donkey and everybody else that's on stage performing with the donkey. So I'm leaving that one there.
Yeah, well, there
Because
you go.
I never thought that was real until I was actually a witness, and it explains my drug and alcohol problem for several years afterwards.
We might
I'm
need to
just
have
trying to forget.
we might need to have an entire show just to help you work through this, I think. Right.
We're gonna have to get John and a couple psychiatrists and
Right, yeah, to really crack that layer and really get in deep on how to fix this, because
Absolutely.
clearly you're still traumatized.
Dude, you have no idea. Number 11, you decided it would be fun to do a surprise visit to your parents. Then when you walk in on them, they're doing the Humpty dance in the living room. Yeah,
Hey,
that's
hey,
something to get removed right away.
bless them though for keeping the spark alive though.
Yeah. Yeah. good old mom and dad on the couch rock and rolling to Kiss records that I've got out. So
Yeah, right.
sorry, a little nod to Cheap Trick there.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. All
Yeah.
right, number 10.
Number 10, because Biggie's words sometimes suggest I need to be.
That's right.
You know?
Hypnotize me.
Yeah.
I was gonna try and have a clip of that, but I didn't have one on my iPod, so I
Oh
apologize.
yeah, that's my bail too on not updating the soundboard with that. So
Oh no.
yeah.
It's all your fault. Okay, number 9. You have an interview with a huge celebrity that's famous for a big fish story and find out during the interview that he just doesn't like being interviewed and basically belittles you and gives you short, nondescript answers. And it's like being interrogated. And every time you ask a question, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Wow, it
Hmm.
seems, it would be awful if this really happened to anybody in real
That we
life.
knew.
That would just be awful.
That would
It
be probably one of the
terrible.
worst conversations ever.
And I'm glad that neither you nor I have ever had to experience this ever.
No, no, everything's been
thankfully,
great so
it's been
far.
wonderful so far.
And I kind of miss
number
the
8.
donkey show now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that doesn't seem like such a big trauma anymore, does it?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, number 8.
Number 8, your daughter wants to go see that latest singing boy sensation with her friends, and you're the only parent that can escort them, and the hit song is I Emoji Heart You.
I emoji heart you. Yeah, I emoji heart you, girl. Yeah, all right. I have no idea what that was about. But having teenage daughters, I do. So,
and I feel for you there. I know my fair share of teenage
Get-
daughter parents, and it's tough.
yeah, get your son into punk rock as soon as possible.
Oh, right. No,
I tried.
absolutely.
I've got my 13 or 15-year-old is actually enjoying Duran Duran.
Oh, that's good.
And which isn't punk rock, but she likes it.
Wow.
They both like some ska, different
Okay.
ska songs, like No Doubt for sure.
Yeah.
And I what was I playing for Isabel the other day? What is it? I can't remember. Anyway.
Oh.
All right, number 7.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
One of my son's random hums is Europe's The Final Countdown. so like I'll be working here, yeah, and I'll just hear him, da, 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 da. I'm like, yes.
That may be something for the soundboard, by the way.
I think so, yeah.
All right, number 7. If you wake up in the back of a room of a shop with a ball gag in your mouth and you hear someone say, "Bring out the gimp."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That would be something I'd want wiped from the memory banks real fast.
Absolutely. Pulp
yeah,
Fiction, great movie, and almost so horrifying when that happens. Number 6, when my wife says, "Honey, sit down, The Bachelor's starting."
And bring the snacks.
I need no recollection of the next 60 minutes of my life. Absolutely no. Zap that completely. Get it out.
Yeah, because dude, I just don't understand how.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that rant because then we'll lose our guest for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Number 5, when my phone rings, I see it's my parents, and I'm about to get "This is what happened at the doctor's office this week" phone call.
Oh.
Is this an illusion to me?
No. This is my parents and me right now.
Because
this is exactly.
Yeah.
Because when they call, it's like, "Hey, how are you doing?" "Great." "Okay, well, this is what's happening with me. I just saw Dr. Smith, and this is what's gonna happen." It's like, oh my God, I can't.
So then I had this little mole right here, and so I had the doctor look at it, and he looked at it for hours, and then he called.
Yeah, it's funny too because my dad will tell me what's wrong with my mom. My mom will tell me what's wrong with my dad. They won't tell me what's wrong with themselves. It is the funniest thing. Yeah.
Oh.
So
yeah, hey, they're keeping you in the loop.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, I get it, and I'm going to be doing that to you boys next week. I'm going to be Stony calling. "Hey, guess what? I got the pain pills, guys. It's so fun." There is an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, it's
like
the chair. It's a chair.
Yeah. You're going to be like that little kid that just came home from the dentist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That one is...
Remember that video? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. All right. Number 4. When my son starts his conversations with, Dad, did you know that in Minecraft?
So this hits a little too close to home with me as well right now, because
Mhm.
Xander is completely 100% into Minecraft right now. It is all he talks about. Like he gave me a random fact about something else the other day, and I was shocked that it wasn't about
That
Minecraft.
wasn't
Like, I'm like,
Minecraft.
wait, what? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's but we're working through it. We're getting there. I'm
Dude, the 13, 15-year-olds are still way into it. You know, I'm
Oh,
like, what are you
geez.
doing?
Don't tell
We're
me
playing
that.
Minecraft. I'm making skins for Minecraft. I'm doing this for Minecraft. I'm like,
That's not good.
dude,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
other things in the world. I know, but this is right here. So is the outdoors.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Let's see. Number 3. Oh, should I read this one?
Yes. No, you absolutely should.
When Andy starts his conversations with, well, this was my problem with The Last Jedi. That is.
Don't you wish you were hypnotized for that, Kristian?
I just, yeah, especially when you and Matt start going at it. It's
Yeah.
yeah, that's way too close. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right. You do
all right,
number 2.
Number 2, when you pull up to the building and you see those 3 familiar letters staring at you directly in the face, D M V. I have no desire to be lucid for anything during my DMV visits at all. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, zap me out, get me in and out of there. I don't need to know that I was there. I don't need to, I just need to get it done.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. All right. And which brings us down to number 1.
I wrote this one for you, Matt.
When your friend and fellow podcast host decides to do his grumpy old man impression and it lingers on for 10 minutes. Flippity flab. Back in my day, we didn't have conversations. We just yelled at everybody and nothing in particular, and nobody cared.
Okay.
And people did.
We gotta get our guest in here.
Yes. I know, and he's been incredibly patient, and
yeah, John Matheo,
but that was our number 1. So thank you, Andy, and
John Matheo. Thank you for coming here and watching. Yeah, we're gonna get.
Hey,
yeah,
I forgot to enable the chat.
Bring the chat on.
Let's bring the chat to the chat. There we go.
And
there is John Matteo Genes. I wish I was LOL. Thank you, John.
That was for the DMV, I think.
Now, speaking of grumpy old men, no, I'm just kidding. We've got the fantastic guy, started out as a comedian, gone into hypnotism, has been around the world with it. It's got his amazing, huge YouTube channel that's actually won him some awards. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring him on, Mr. John Moyer. John Moyer. Hey.
I had to snap myself out of hypnosis for the last 10 minutes, so it's all good.
We apologize.
No, I got to tell you this. You guys, you have a great setup here. And I mean that sincerely because, when I first started doing podcasts, anybody just want to have me on, I'm like, yeah. And then I learned to start checking out the podcasts before I would go on them because you get on some of them and you guys you have great backdrops and settings. I get on some of these and I'm like, are you squatting in a vacant house and you're stealing somebody's Wi-Fi to do a podcast?
And it was sitting outside a gas station bathroom.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, dude.
And you guys are talking about, a guest or somebody, that might just, a few words here and there. And there's a few interviewers that are the same way. So there's been time I'm like, am I being punked on this podcast? Is this going to show up on some morning zoo?
Yeah. Do your parents know that you have this podcast?
yeah, exactly.
Or it's like that one SNL skit. What's his name? Farley. Chris Farley.
Yeah.
He's sitting there. He's like, okay, so you remember that time when you were you were eating cookies on YouTube and like it was really cool and yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, that was stupid. Gah, gah. So
And
yeah.
I love the Bill O'Reilly soundbite. Have you ever seen the Family Guy when they do that?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a-
Yes.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
God, yes.
Yeah.
It's
No, we've been quoting that for the last ever since I've been on the show.
it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
We're
And
just
so
doing
when
it live.
Yeah, I just added it to our little soundboard today, as a matter of fact. So.
Yeah, because well, yeah, and Andy regrets adding anything to this soundboard because I'm always overdoing it,
Yeah.
and half the time it never works on cue because it's off my iPad and the sensitivity's screwed up. So it's a good time, but no, it's and we are super stoked to have you on here, man. I know it's been a little
Yeah.
while since we tried to make these arrangements, so thank you very much for being here, sir.
Happy to be here. Thank
All
you.
right, so listen, John. Again, this is going to be all about you. So, how'd this all start for you? I mean, I know you started as a comedian. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what happened is I went to film school, graduated from theater and film school with a screenwriting emphasis. So
Mhm.
while I was in film school, I had been doing some acting and stuff like that too, but there was a local comedy club that had open mic night. So I went and did open mic night, and it was really kind of a weird thing because I went up and did like 3 minutes for this open mic, but apparently I did well enough that the manager asked if I wanted to come back over the weekend and do a guest spot. So I
Oh,
started
cool.
doing that, and it all kind of seemed like in the same wheelhouse, of
Right.
entertainment, comedy, and I was always big into comedy. So the scripts that I wrote, were always comedy scripts. So I graduated from theater and film school. I went out and was I did comedy, stand-up comedy professionally for over 20 years. And
Nice.
the thing that was weird was that in the mid 2000s, the comedy scene got very, very, very different. And
Mhm.
that's a whole other discussion. But so about 10 years ago or so, I discovered, stage hypnosis. And, I was always interested in the mind. And then, of
Mhm.
course, stage hypnosis, it was comedy hypnosis. So it was,
Yeah.
again, all seemed in that same wheelhouse of performing. And, I retired from stand up probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and then had just been doing stage hypnosis, since then, and subsequently the YouTube channel. But yeah, it all just kind of stemmed from the desire to be, creative and entertaining and funny.
Well, and I mean, obviously, you're doing fantastic. I mean, your YouTube channel is what 200,000 plus subscribers now
Yeah,
at this point.
I'll hit about 250 probably in the next month or so.
Oh,
250,000.
Nice.
So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome, dude. Now, and again, I don't do too much research because I want to be able to
Yeah.
be as inquisitive as possible. What is your YouTube channel? What are you doing on your YouTube channel? You just grab somebody randomly and hypnotize them, like down the
Actually,
street, or
no, it's actually hypnosis and meditation content. So it's audio, content that somebody can listen
Ah,
to experience, hypnosis. And the way that whole thing happened, that was completely out of the blue and by happenstance. Because when I was doing stage hypnosis, the thing is that the hypnotists always had back of the room merchandise, right? So when you get done
right.
with your show, you're pitching, I've got CDs for, stop
ah,
smoking and weight loss and everything. Well, the
okay.
thing is that CDs became passe. Nobody's got a CD player anymore.
Yeah.
So, I'm on these Facebook groups and other groups where hypnotists are all talking, and they're like, nobody has CD players anymore. What do we do? And then, guys were talking about, well, what if we got thumb drives and we could put all our digital content and then we'd sell these thumb drives? And now they're all trying to figure out who's got the cheapest thumb drives and bulk
Right.
and all this stuff. And I'm like, now there is an element to the excitement, right? When people see the show, then they're more motivated, encouraged to go and buy something, in the moment. But
Yeah.
I just thought, you know what? If it's all going to be digital anyway, why don't
Right.
I put my stuff on my website and just tell people, hey, if you want this content, you can go to my website and download it. Well, I started putting some of my content on YouTube, thinking that if people experienced it there, maybe they'd be interested enough. They'll go to
Right.
my website and they'll buy it. What it never even occurred to me was that people were using YouTube as a primary platform
Yeah.
to experience this kind of content. And I put my stuff on there, and consequently, it just wound up, blowing up and taking off.
That's
So, and
awesome.
I had different things on my YouTube channel. It was like clips of my show, and then some of the meditation stuff, and then I completely overhauled my channel to make it all about just the meditation content or the hypnosis
Yeah.
content. And the thing is that a lot of people like my content. They want to have something to fall asleep to. And then at the
Yeah.
same time, while they're in that kind of trance-like state before they drift off to a deep sleep, to have a message that's spoken to them for whatever topic that they're looking to, improve the quality of their life, or, achieve a goal, or, something like that. And then they like to listen to the stuff while they're asleep.
Right,
So
right, right.
a
Yeah.
lot of my content it's 8 hours long. You put it in to fall
Right.
asleep, and then you listen to it, while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's funny. A lot of people fall asleep to our show as well.
You mean Rum and Regret? Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. No, no, okay, so what spurned all this? I mean, did you like did you go to college and study some more of this, or after your film in school, or was this something you kind of just self-taught on your own?
What I
Uh,
did is initially when I, wanted to, was gonna do the stage hypnosis, I already had the knack to be on stage, and, I had improv skills, and, I could riff off the crowd and stuff, which is it's a big part of, what's happening on stage. Because being on stage, it's all about the performers on stage, right? It's
right.
not necessarily this rote set that, that I'm doing. So I took a stage hypnosis training course, and,
Okay.
because I figured I already knew how to be funny, now I just have to figure out how to hypnotize people. So I went through the hypnosis training course, but then kind of to, just increase my knowledge of hypnosis and my skill with hypnosis, I went through a certification program, that was about 100 hours of, classroom time, and then I
Right.
think it was like 20 or 30 hours of outside classroom time, hypnotizing people. But I was already, I was simultaneously doing my show, so I was able to rack up that outside time, quite quickly. But then I went and got, certified, more formally or more officially,
Right,
in
right,
that,
right.
so I could
So
have a
it's
fancy, diploma
Yeah.
or plaque certificate on the wall.
you carry it around in your wallet. You're like, listen,
Yeah,
I'm certified, damn it.
yeah, yeah.
So, and by the way, you're getting sleepy. No, and I'm not trying to mock you.
No, it's all good.
Uh, oh, and I'm sorry, John here has a question. Do you do the whole 8-hour recording in one sitting, or do you do some parts and then put them all together?
Now the whole when it's an 8-hour program, typically the first hour to 90 minutes is all kind of the original portion, and then after that, I kinda create what I call, a bridge that kind of goes back and then, loops the body of the program. Again, I don't go back and do, the induction again. I figure they're already in that state, then it just goes
Yeah.
back and, plays, the body of the
Of the whole
program. Or
message and
yeah,
okay.
or sometimes people are big into affirmations too, so it might just that remaining time might just, it could be, affirmations, that play every 10 seconds, so but I don't
Interesting.
have to sit and record the whole thing for 8 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wow, that would I mean, I do voiceover work, and sometimes you can hear my voice right now because I've been doing so much talking with doctors and things. But yeah, after like I'd narrated a book, and I'm like, oh, it was like the first one I really done, and after about an hour, I was just like, okay, I gotta take a
Yeah,
break.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
and
8 hours. Whoa.
then I have my own Bill O'Reilly meltdown moments when I'm at the middle of recording. I screw something up, and, the
Yeah.
some of the outtakes are
We'll do
quite,
it live.
yeah, we'll do a lot, yeah.
We'll do it live.
Sorry,
Do it live.
That's
I can
me.
write it and we'll do it live.
I couldn't resist. Sorry. Oh, hey, Pascal, thank you for joining in. John, nice to see your face talking and not only listening to your voice night after night.
It's good to mix
Whoa.
things up and have a change.
So is there a 976 John Moyer number?
Yeah, yeah. But
Um,
that's funny because I will have, the The first time I ever heard it, I was doing, I think it was like a state fair, and I had come back for like the second year. And, I was selling the merchandise after the fact. And this woman came up and she had bought my content, the previous year, but she goes, I sleep with you every night. And then she kind of caught herself and how she, and now it's become, kind of a common phrase that I hear people like, I sleep with you every night.
You should have shirts made. Shirts or
There,
hats.
there are. I sleep with a hypnotist T-shirt are on my YouTube
Oh, nice.
merch
Oh,
show. But
oh my gosh, that is
thank you,
awesome.
Pascal, for chiming in, and good to
Yeah.
good to actually hear and connect with somebody like this. So
And giving the
Yeah.
plug. What's your YouTube channel called?
it's John Moyer Hypnosis, or if you just go to YouTube, you type in John Moyer, one of two John Moyers will come up, me or the bass player for Disturbed. It's
Right.
pretty obvious who is who. Um,
Listen, you can say you live a double life. It's fine.
Except on I will get, like, on Twitter or Instagram, I'll constantly get, because like on Twitter, I'm at John Moyer, right?
Mhm.
But then the bass player is John Moyer bass.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
people are like, oh my gosh, John Moyer, but they're talking about the other guy, not me. And it was like 6 months ago, I get this notification that says George Lopez mentioned you on Twitter, and I'm like, the what? So I
What?
opened it up, and it was the George Lopez, the comedian, but he was at some event where apparently the bass
Just-
player John Moyer was coming up and playing, and he tweeted out, "John Moyer is about to take the stage," and I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
"Thank you for the shout out, I appreciate it." But I'm not that
That-
John Moyer.
But I'm more of a guitarist and pianist. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, or flautist, there you go. All right, so now what is your main I mean, you obviously went from, did you do some hypnotism when you were doing your comedy act for a while, or I mean,
Yeah,
did you like
the stand up was all just stand up. It was, it was just me. So, and then I would work a little bit of comedy, into, my stage hypnosis, like up front, because when you start off a stage hypnosis show, they have what, they call, you're giving the pre-talk, right? You're explaining to
Yeah.
the audience what's going to happen,
right.
what to expect. And I did probably when I started, it was a little heavier in the stand-up portion when I did that. And I kind of realized that made people a little bit intimidated, because when you're the comedian, you're the smart ass, right? You're the guy
Right.
that's like, "Oh, I am smarter than all of you people," and I think that made people a little bit, hesitant to come up on stage. So I actually had to dial down a little bit of the funny part, at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
And now what is when you're doing the hypnosis? Now do you do a lot of stuff in person with people, or is it all through the YouTube, or are you doing like one-on-one Zoom calls, or how are you doing all that?
Interestingly enough, my wife went and certified as a hypnotist too. So my wife really enjoys the one-on-one sessions,
Uh-huh.
that time, and I much prefer being a little bit more creative, with it. So, doing the show or creating the content for YouTube. So I don't so
Yeah.
much do, the one-on-one stuff. I'll do the group stuff when it's on stage. Um, but beyond that, it's primarily YouTube.
Okay. All right. Now I mean, will you, if somebody says, "Hey, listen, I'd like a one-on-one session with you," do you offer that kind of thing, or do you just basically,
If
just
it's
stick through the YouTube and
if
groups
it's
and
somebody
stuff?
local, then I'll refer them, I'll connect them, with my wife to do a session that way. If it's on, because I know Zoom, obviously, Zoom has become, hypnosis on Zoom has become a big thing. And that's not anything I've kind of wanted to, to delve into. But
I
I have colleagues that, do it all the time, and they figured out how to make it work.
Really, 'cause yeah, I would think that would be a very hard medium, especially like if you get a delay or something.
Yeah.
It would be very rough to interpret through, and to like actually get a good connection with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, like your screen freezes and you're just like,
Right.
wait,
Yeah.
wait, what? So
Yeah.
then their memory starts slowly slipping away and
Yeah.
they're
Yeah. So
halfway hypnotized. And
my friends and colleagues that do it, they've got it down. They figured out how to make it work, all the fail safes and everything.
right.
So I just enjoy just being, more creative with what I do.
That's awesome, dude. Okay, now, okay, John John says, when will we get the down with the sickness meditation?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's a good meditation to be going
Down
with.
the
Maybe.
and Pascal mentioned, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but she referred to there's a great book that I read kind of when I started doing hypnosis. It's not necessarily about hypnosis, but it is about the mind. It's called "You Are the Placebo" by Joe Dispenza, which is a
Oh.
really, really good book, by the way. That basically says it goes into explanation and case studies of people who have thought themselves well because they believed, it's like a placebo effect. Oh, this is working, I'm going to
Yeah.
get better. And then conversely, people who've thought themselves into sickness because of the mind. And when I read that book, it really, the power of the mind relative to a placebo effect. And when we hear the word placebo, we tend to think it's just some non-medical goofy thing. All right, it's not, but it really is. It's
Yeah.
it's like, it's funny because my ex-wife, she was a nurse, and I would take vitamin C if I got a cold, and she's like, all that is a placebo effect. And I'm like, well, if it's making me better, then it's working, right? So that's the end result. So that, that's some, thank you, Pascal. So that's kind of one of those things that I realized, if people are in this state, of hypnosis, because the thing about hypnosis is when you're in that state, your mind cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's not.
Right.
So, and it's like, you're watching, a scary movie, or, and you feel like stress, or you feel scared,
Yeah.
or whatever, you know, that's not reality. But to your subconscious mind, that input is reality. So you're acting just as if it was, it was a real thing. So,
Hmm.
so utilizing hypnosis when you're in that state, if you're telling somebody, like if I'm on stage and I'm telling somebody, your belly button is missing and you can't find your belly button, they really believe that that is the case. And I had a medical doctor one time who was on stage. I told her belly button was missing. She opens up her eyes and she starts looking around. She's looking under her chair.
Oh, no
She's
way.
lifting up her shirt and she's touching her stomach, and and I'm like, "What's going on?" And she's like, she goes, "My belly button is missing." And she goes, "I'm a medical doctor and I know that this is impossible, but yet it happened to me and my belly button is missing."
Dude.
So, that was a case where, the subconscious mind overwrote what consciously made sense, and she acted as if her belly button was missing. So now if you tell somebody, that they like to work out a lot, or, their diet or whatever the case may be, then the subconscious mind, it goes, believes that's real. Yeah, we're somebody that likes to work out. So we're going to achieve our goals to be able to, lose weight or get in shape or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. I want to get a little more into the depth of the whole hypnosis thing. Pascal, thank you. I just got that Omicron thing a little over a week ago. That too did not affect me as it might have otherwise.
And
Did-
it's interesting that she says that, because one of the physiological benefits of hypnosis or meditation, their sister states of mind, is that it really increases and boosts your immune system.
Mhm.
So when you're in that state, if you're continually, if you're a continual practice of, meditation or hypnosis, then you do have that physiological benefit of actually being, healthier with a stronger immune system.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Hey, hello, Corey and Spencer. Thank you for joining us. We're going to take just a quick moment here, and step out, get our sponsor taken care of, and then we are going to come back. And I want to get more in depth on how you're approaching these people with their certain problems. I'm sure you
Well,
deal with a lot
we
of
also have a really good question here from John Mateo too that I want to get to as well.
Yeah, yeah. So give us just a moment, and we're going to step out and we're going to do a quick commercial break. And then we will be right back with John Moyer, hypnotist extraordinaire. And here we go. Maybe. The Random Christian Show is proudly sponsored by Neil Getzlow's new book, Unmasked. Hey, it's Kristian, and we're all struggling with something in our lives. I mean, men and women both. Maybe it's an addiction or loneliness or bitterness, something that just keeps us on edge. Well, for Neil Getzlow, He had an addiction to porn that started when he was just 9 years old. And then it built up and it turned into a sex addiction as an adult. But thanks to the power of prayer and forgiveness from both God and his wife, Neil was able to walk away from those struggles and completely turn his life around. Now, it may be you or somebody you know, but if Neil can do it, I promise you, you can do it too. There is hope and there is a way out. God's going to give you the path, but are you going to take it? I want you to check out Neil's new book, Unmasked, and learn all about this. If you use the code RANDOM for free shipping, you're going to save a bunch of money and you're going to really help yourself or somebody out. All right. Go to therandomchristianshow.com. There's a link there, or go to neilgetzlow.com, neilgetzlow.com, and check it out. Don't forget to put in the code RANDOM for free shipping. That's an award-winning sponsor of the ship right there. I'm just going to say, I'm kind of proud of myself on that one, since I got kudos from the big man.
That's right.
Our guest last week, Mr. Mark Cashman. Okay, now, John, thank you. Thank you for coming back. And who was, where'd they go? I'm trying to find
John Mateo had that question of what was the weirdest reaction you had from someone who was hypnotized in a group session?
Well, if it would be a group session, then it would be, a situation, that I had on stage. And I don't know, like, that I mean, there's a lot of things that stand out, that are really, really funny. One of the weirdest or funniest things, I do, it's a skit that I call the sleep finger. Okay. So, when you've got these people on stage and they all know, their minds now have become conditioned to know that the word sleep, they're going to go back into that, their eyes are going to close, their body's going to relax. So I tell somebody on stage, I go, I'm giving you the gift of the sleep finger. And when they touch somebody on stage, they, they'll go to sleep. So this person's like going around touching people on stage, and the people are, their eyes are closing and their muscles are going limp and, loose and relaxed. And then, of course, the highlight of the bit is at the end when I tell the person, you're trying to fight keeping that sleep finger away from you, right? And then, like, you see them fighting, like they're fighting, but eventually they can't beat it, and it touches, the forehead. But I had a I think it was a guy and a girl on stage one time, and it was the two of them because I had a larger group, so I was going to give it to two people. And the guy just leaned over and touched the girl, and they were standing up, and the girl just went limp, right,
Just
fell down
dropped.
right on the floor.
Yeah.
And then the
Oh,
guy's looking
goodness.
at it like himself, and then he was like, he touched himself, and he just literally just completely
Phew.
collapsed, and and fell down on the floor. And I mean, it's one of those things because when people experience hypnosis, you know exactly, as a hypnotist, how people are going to react, when they are hypnotized. And it was one of these things where this guy touched it. I mean, he just went down. Like, there was no trying to, like, brace his body or anything. He just, his knees puckered and he went down. So
Okay, now let me ask you something about that. Okay, because he's hypnotized and the other person's hypnotized, and he's basically in control of his sleep finger, right?
yeah.
So now, do you still have the ability to bring them out of that as being the hypnotist, or can you say, "Hey, your sleep finger doesn't work, wake up"?
Yeah. You always,
I mean, that's incredible power.
yeah.
I mean,
You always have that, ability, because one of the things that the instructions when you have a group of people on stage is you're going to let them know whenever they hear the word sleep, this is going to be, the case. Or whenever you hear me say the words wide awake, you'll focus on me, pay attention to me, and the things that I say. So there are some times when you've had to, like, you call out to somebody like wide awake because they're something, I mean, it never happened to me, but I had I was watching a hypnotist, years ago, where he had told somebody else on stage that whenever they heard a certain word, they thought their, like, butt was going to be, was getting pinched by somebody else on the
oh God.
stage. And like a fight almost, like, broke out. Like, these two guys on stage were ready to go to blows with each other, and the hypnotist just kind of jumping, wide awake, or
Oh,
you just tell them sleep, and then they just, I've seen that happen too, where
Oh.
something weird may go, you just go sleep, and, like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow. Oh my God. Yeah, I could see where that could dude, that guy keeps pinching my ass. What's going
yeah,
on,
yeah,
man?
yeah, yeah.
Yo, bro, I told you no. Maybe
I
after the show, but not right now.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I've seen videos of people get decked,
Oh,
so
geez.
there are a lot of things that when you're training for stage hypnosis, you kind of hear about this stuff, but then all of a sudden you're in that moment and then you
Yeah.
click and you go, "Oh, this makes sense." So there's a lot of things that to do to set things up to make sure that,
Yeah.
nothing goes south.
Okay.
Yeah. Now,
So
Spencer
go ahead.
Self here asked, what do you think about people like Elizabeth Holmes?
She's an interesting young woman, that's for sure. I watched the documentary,
Hmm.
she definitely I don't know if I would use the word hypnosis, but
Okay.
she created a persona that clearly, resonated with people that, they gravitated to, and then, come hell or high water, they did everything that as the employees, kind
Yeah.
of did what she said, kind of feared her a little bit. She was intimidating, and then, of course, a lot of people were, smitten by her in the business world. So
Huh.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting. And hey Corey, how you doing? He wants to know if you can hypnotize Andy to stop pinching him. And
Well,
that
I'm
is getting
sorry,
awkward
Corey.
there,
that is
Corey.
getting Corey actually had a good question there when he asked about how, hypnosis or the state of mind changes, the immune system. And what's going on there is when you're going into a lower brainwave state, you're going from a beta brainwave state, which is your active waking brainwave state. You're going down into an alpha and theta brainwave state. And what happens there, it's not a process of thought, but it is a process of how your body is operating. Your body winds up increasing its release of antioxidants, so you're boosting the immune system that way.
Yeah.
When you get into that state of mind, your body naturally is just boosting antioxidants. And there's been
That's crazy.
really great studies of stuff that is going on about how people who meditate
Yeah.
on a regular basis are increasing their antioxidant levels. Great study about women with breast cancer who meditated during intense chemotherapy. And when you go through chemotherapy, it grinds down the telomeres on your DNA because it's such,
It's it's
it's a
super
difficult
invasive.
process. But they
Yeah.
found that the women who were meditating during chemotherapy, their telomeres remained the same and had no effect. So that was really interesting.
Oh, wow.
Huh. That
That's
and
crazy.
okay, so yeah, and that was something I wanted okay, so how okay. And I want to make sure I phrase this right because I don't want to sound like a jerk or anything. How much do you tap into the deep of someone's psyche when you're doing this? Like let's say you're doing and I know it's kind of a you put people in like a halfway state. Do you go I mean, can you go deeper and really get into somebody's mind like that? Or I mean, I don't know. There's so many weird questions I could be asking.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Now, if you're working with somebody one on one, then obviously, there's a feedback loop there. You're able to observe what's going on. You're able to interact with a person to kind of understand, the experience that they're having, or maybe thoughts that they're recalling, and so forth. So when you're in that situation when you're one on one, you can go really deep with somebody,
Right.
Mhm.
because you know that you're there and that you can guide them and direct them, if something traumatic comes up or they have an interesting or unusual reaction.
Uh-huh.
So and of course while you're on stage, that's typically you're keeping things lighthearted. um
Yeah.
and so you're avoiding, stuff that, might be, weird for people or something like that. And then, of course, when I'm putting the content out there on YouTube, there's some issues or, things that people might, be dealing with. But I also have to make sure that I kind of, kind of remain on that peripheral there because, I'm not going to give people, these exercises, that if you're not there to be able to guide and, conduct
Right.
with, one on one, that you try to so I kind of what I refer to it as is when I put out my programming on, there on YouTube, I don't like to give what I call people homework. Because now if
Right,
you're with
right.
somebody one-on-one, you can go, okay, think about this, and you're walking down this doorway, and what does the door look like? And then, okay, no, you're going to open the door and find somebody that that really, who is that, whatever that case may be. So, but when you're doing it on YouTube, you just kind of have to paint in broad strokes and, create these these generalized situations that people, are able to process in their mind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, what is and I mean you've got to get some pretty heavy requests sometimes. I'm sure, like, somebody's like, listen, I want to be able to forget certain trauma in my life, or I mean, do you get anything like that? Or listen, I saw this happen when I was younger and it's been haunting me my whole life. Things like that. I, d- I mean, because
Yeah.
I can't imagine somebody, wanting to, obviously not wanting to be with that, but then also, I mean, because you can probe into somebody pretty deep, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
get inside their head deep.
yeah, kind of an example, for that is I got a lot of requests for a past life regression,
Ooh.
hypnosis program, which, I actually had that. I went through that experience when I, was doing my hypnosis training. We had a whole thing where we did past life regressions. Now, obviously, one of the things with past life regression, if somebody lived in some other time, well, they also died in some other time, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so how is that going to, come up for somebody? Like, where are you at now? Oh, I'm wearing cement shoes. My feet are encased in block
Right.
because I'm a mob member and I'm floating the bottom of, the river. That can be a weird, like that's something you can address with somebody if you're doing it one-on-one. So when I created that program, for my channel, I made sure that I had you know, kind of approach that, kind of delicately, not too deeply. You pre-frame that as you're saying to the person that they feel safe, they feel comfortable,
Right.
and you're not really going to want to explore that, too much.
Wow. Yeah, because I mean, I mean, ethically, you've really got to be watching the borders that you're riding on, because I mean, you could trigger something that could essentially bring something back out into someone and really kind of tweak them out, wouldn't it? I
I
mean,
mean, yeah, that's why, if you're going to do heavy lifting like that, that's, one-on-one sessions, that's the time and, that's the time and place for that.
now I don't know if it's fair to ask this, but what is one of the deepest things you've ever had to deal with? Or I know you don't do a whole lot of one-on-one, but you said you have done some. Have you ever done anything really really heavy like that where
I not when I've worked with people, my wife has with, the
Mm,
clients that she has worked with, she's dealt with, past traumas and, and issues that, and she's great at that. She knows how to, address that. She knows how to frame that entire experience. She knows the tools to be able to offer people to be able to, work them through that. That's why I said, I like the much more, the kind of the creative lighthearted, not as in funny approach, but,
Yeah.
right.
a more of an, kind of a general day-to-day, uplifting, for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, putting
That
more
makes sense.
positive affirmations and things like that. John asked a pretty good question here. What are your thoughts on lucid dreaming, and have you ever experienced it yourself? What was the experience like if you did?
Yes, I actually have. But it's weird because the only time I am able to experience a lucid dream is if it's like early in the morning where I may have already woken up, but I'm still in bed and I've fallen, back to sleep. And there were some times it began with me one time where, I had thought my wife had, gone out. I think she went to like her early morning boxing class or something, and that she had come back, and we had this interaction. And it wasn't until after the fact that I realized that that never actually happened, but I thought that it did happen. And then I realized it was kind of a lucid dream experience. So then during that time, I found that if I wake up early enough and I fall back asleep, but as I'm going back to sleep, I focus on an experience. And I remember having this experience where I was flying, I was in a room and I was flying within the room, but I could go up and I could touch the ceiling, and I knew, I consciously was aware that this was happening, and I could literally
Oh,
feel,
wow.
Yeah.
the textures, with everything, and within my hands, and
Wow.
it's a
That
crazy thing, because
yeah.
it's like you have the awareness that you're wide awake, but
Right.
yet at the same time you're experiencing, something that's completely just
Oh, that's crazy.
bizarre. And now
Okay.
I've known people that they can control it, they can make it happen right away, but I haven't quite got into that
Right.
where I've been able
Yeah.
to adopt it myself though.
Now, would you consider that would that be considered like a an out of body experience for some people? Like, you hear all the stories. Oh, I was in the hospital, and then all of a sudden I'm floating above, watching the doctors work on me.
That
The
might
out of body experience kind of thing.
kind of fall within the astral projection realm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
where there's something happening, and out lucid dreaming, you're inside the mind having this kind of conscious experience, surreal experience, and then astral projection, you're going out there out of your body to some whole other realm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now,
Okay,
during
go
your
ahead.
shows when you go live, I imagine there are probably a couple skeptics in the crowd. How do you
Yeah, well,
how do you deal with the skeptics?
well, the thing is I will, when I'm inviting people on stage, I'm telling people, look, you create the show and the environment for the volunteers, for people that want to come up and participate. It's like, if
Yeah.
you don't believe in this, if you don't want to, if you want to come up on stage just to prove that, it's not real, then guess what?
Right.
You've won. There's nothing I have nothing I can
Yeah.
do with that. So
Right.
leave the
Right.
seat open for people that want to participate.
Yeah.
But now the thing that's interesting, and this is why I love doing like corporate shows,
Yeah.
because these are people that work together. And I can't tell you how many times after a show, I've had people come up to me and they go, I didn't believe any of this, and now I know it's real because I
Yeah.
work next to that guy every single day. There's no way that was fake. That was completely legitimate. And
Yeah.
I had an experience a few years ago where I was performing for a county sheriff's department, and they were they were a rough bunch. It was a little
Yeah.
bit hard, kind of. They've been drinking a little bit before the show, and
Oh, geez. Oh,
trying to
no.
get volunteers on stage. So I had it was one of these things where everybody's like, Brenda, you need to go up there. Brenda, you need now.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody doesn't want to go up on their own, like, I'm not gonna
Right.
do that, right? But
Right, right.
they were a little bit of a rougher group, so I'm like, I'm gonna take whatever I can get.
Yeah.
So this woman's like, fine, I'll do it. Well, she was the head of their county jail.
Oh,
And
wow.
I
Oh.
mean, she was like, you looked at her, you're like, she's a woman, but she's not a woman I want to mess with, right?
Right.
So she comes up on stage and she's got this, all right, fine, I'm up here. This is ridiculous. This is not gonna work. And an hour later, she opened her eyes and had no idea what just transpired over the previous 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was, and then the cops were in hysterics, and they're like, "Oh my God, now we know this is real." That was
There's no way she could
Yeah.
have done what you
And-
just had her do.
and
No
they're
way.
showing her videos on their phone. They were all filming it, and this
Right.
woman was just
Oh.
flabbergasted because she was
That's
like,
incredible.
I have no idea. I have no recollection of this.
Yeah.
I never intended that to be the case, but it was. So
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
That's incredible.
Now, by the way, Spencer, thanks for joining us. He's got a great question. Could you fix Tom Cruise if you had the chance?
is Tom Cruise broken? Does he need fixing?
I'm thinking, yeah, there's some tweaking that could be done. I'm just saying,
Well,
when you're bouncing around on a couch on a Oprah going,
there's
hey,
that.
hey, hey.
I'm sure if it's working for him, then he doesn't think it's
Right. Yeah.
that's that's all relative to a person's perceptions and perspective. So I could maybe be who asked that question? Was that
Spencer
Spencer? I could maybe work on Spencer so he thinks that Tom Cruise isn't broken. I could do that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
There
just
you
test
go.
There you go. Well, we'll just take the roundabout approach. John here, John Mattel, does your wife surround herself with professionals? And actually, I was going to get into this, i.e. psychotherapists when dealing with one-on-ones, in case the person needs extra help. and needs additional therapeutic
Boy,
help?
I'll tell you something interesting.
That's a good question.
My wife worked with a client one time who, when wife did a few sessions with this client, when she was done with this client, the client's like psychologist or psychiatrist then came and was doing sessions with, with my wife.
Wow.
Because she saw the results. So Kevin Kaiser, Depper class of 1987. Of course I remember him. So a little shout out to
Welcome, Kevin.
DJS in the house.
Yeah, what's up?
But so yeah, so obviously one of the things is when you're doing this, you want to keep yourself connected and with other people around you that are doing that. So you're constantly, kind of understanding things. You're always upping your game. So, there's
Right.
we all have friends, that have become their colleagues or friends that, we can go to and say, hey, this situation, or I'm working with this person, or this person's coming in, or I'll do that, when if something weird happens on stage, I might go back to, some of my colleagues and go, this happened. What are your thoughts on that? So.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And excellent questions, by the way. Thank you all so much.
And
Diane, thank you for joining in.
Diane's one of my favorite stories because Diane and I met on a cruise ship. I don't know, was that 4 years ago or something like that. And, one of the things that I do when I'm up on stage is you want to encourage people to participate. And the thing that I will tell the volunteers, I say, look, if there's something that you're looking to work on for yourself, if there's a goal that you want to achieve, if there's a limiting belief or, limiting habit you want to jettison from yourself, well, we're going to be able to make that happen for you, tonight. And of course, now when you're on the cruise ship, you do the shows. I would only ever do 2 shows in one night,
Mhm.
for the cruise, but you have the opportunity to be around on the cruise. So you're interacting, with people. And Diane had come up to me and, this is, I don't know, 2, 3 days or 4 days after the show. And she's 2017. Yep. And she said, I had no intentions of going up on stage. But when you said that, you could help us achieve a goal, she goes, that was it. I wanted to do that. She said, my whole thing is that I'm a chocoholic. I eat way too much chocolate and I want to be able to not have that be the case. And she said, it's been, 3 or 4 days or whatever it was from the show. She goes, I haven't had any chocolate since the show. And she goes, my friends can't believe it. Of course, there's chocolate everywhere. It was on, on a cruise ship. And, that's one of the stories that you love hearing because it's a case where people were able to have an entertaining experience and yet they were able to walk away with something that was, that was beneficial, for them as well. So, and then we connected a few months ago. She messaged me because I was telling that story to people, and then, I hadn't talked to her, and then she messaged me or made a post or something, a few months ago. And was like, "Remember me? I'm the woman from the cruise ship with, that stopped eating chocolate."
Which, by the way, thank you for saving me some chocolate because I don't get enough, but I'm not allowed. So, and I know my wife's watching. So, yes, dear, I'm not eating chocolate. It's all cool. What is now? Have you ever done any like street hypnotism or anything like that, where you're walking around and do you do any filming like that, where you like get some people and you're like, hey, what just like David Blaine or whatever his name is that does that.
I haven't, I've not done any of that. I know some guys that, are really, really, they're really, really good at that. I suppose if I, applied myself and really, wanted to develop
Right.
the technique, what I, not going up to complete strangers, but it's always been interesting because, there's after a show that somebody may have been, a volunteer on the show and maybe you're talking to them afterwards and, they may say something. They're still close enough within that window where, I might be talking to them and I go sleep and, they're out in the lobby and then all of a sudden, you catch them in your arms.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome. It's like they just sit there and keep blah, 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 sleep. Okay,
Yeah.
what were you saying now? And you just move on to somebody else. Now you take suggestions from the audience when you're doing these corporate gigs and stuff like that, right?
Well, I mean, I won't, take suggestions from the audience because then you'll have people being, suggesting really weird things.
Right.
But when I do a show, I'll go in there with, I might have an idea, kind of an outline of a few things that I, might want to do. and then kind of take it that way. I mean, there's a lot of guys or, women for that matter, people that are doing hypno that are, they're very rigid, they're going to do this and this and this. And sometimes you get up on stage and, you might be experiencing something. You go, oh, these guys would be great to do this skit, or, these guys, not so much, so I'm going to avoid doing, that skit or, that sort of thing.
But okay, so you don't, yeah, 'cause I was going to say, because I'm sure you get some pretty insane questions from the audience if you do something like that, because that could be kind of risky.
Yeah, because the thing is you don't know what's gonna. That's the thing. Every show is different, and you're never quite sure who's going to react what way, and so you do have to be able to have this fluid approach, and that's one of the things that helped me from stand up is that I was able to think quickly and I could riff with the audience and
the improv skills,
and the improv skills, especially with the people on stage, because they might say something, or do something that's funny that all of a sudden an idea will pop into my mind. I say this and it's gonna, get a big laugh or, or whatever the case may be. So you do have to kind of, think, on your feet and know which direction to take it.
Yeah, you got to be able to roll with the punches real quick. What is like the most unexpected thing that you've seen somebody do when you're putting them into hypnosis? Like, well, for instance, like that one, the very gruff lady that you're like, yeah, she could snap my neck. What have you been able to get people to do that you thought would never even happen? I mean, do you think do you suggest things like that just to see if you can really actually get into their psyche that way? Or
well, there's things that what's interesting, I think, is when you see to the extreme, I guess, for lack of a better word, how deep somebody can can go into something.
right.
You'll do, or I'll do, like it's a movie theater skit where you tell people that they're watching, this movie, that's playing in front of them, and you take it through. It's a really funny movie, right? You take it through the genres of movies, and you tell them it's a funny movie, and then you see these people laughing and they're reacting. Then it'll go to like a thriller, that'll go through a horror movie, right? And then it's like this love story where this couple gets married and they have a puppy dog, and everybody's like, oh, the cute puppy dog. And then you tell them the puppy dog ran away and the puppy dog's lost, and like you'll see people, like tears are streaming down people's faces, and they're sobbing, they're so upset that, because it's like when you have a dream, right? No matter what's going on in the dream, you believe it's real, you're having that reaction, something horrible is happening in the dream, maybe you're startled, you're woken up, or you're crying, or whatever the case may be, and so you're seeing these different levels of people, and that's what makes it so funny. I mean, and the audience is laughing hysterically. You've got people that are up here on the stage and they're like sobbing because of this, this little dog. And I'll do this whole thing where like, oh, the dog tried to come back, but the owner backed out of the driveway looking for the dog and ran over a puppy, and they're crying, and and then I'll be like, but the EMT showed up and they healed the dog, and now the dog's alive again, and now and everybody's like, and the husband and wife, they're so happy, they're kissing, making up from their fight, and wow, they're really kissing. Wow, they're kissing a lot. You play that Ferris Bueller, oh yeah, music, and then and then I go, oh my gosh, the people that's kissing on the screen, your grandparents, right? And then all of a sudden, they have this reaction. So
yeah, kind of like one of our questions that we didn't want to be reminded of walking in on our parents on the living room floor.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, no, take it out. Okay. Now,
and by the way, I want to say to Kevin Kaiser, the 35th year reunion, I believe, is in October of this year. I will be there. So
yeah, there you go.
I'm not performing. I've performed at quite a few class reunions, but I have no intention of performing at my own class reunion.
Right. Yeah.
Except for that one annoying kid. Then, maybe, hey, buddy, come here for a sec. Let's talk. So, and John Mateo we kind of stepped into this a little bit earlier, but is there an ethical part of your certification as a hypnotist?
Yeah.
And I mean, because like I said earlier, you can touch into some things. So you've really got to be able to say, no, I'm not going to do that, man.
I mean, obviously you want, the ethical side of things is part of the training. And and it's the same, like, he mentioned about, street hypnotism too. Of course, if guys are going out there doing it, they want to have somebody's permission. They might say, okay, I'm going
Yeah.
to, maybe touch your arms or, your shoulder or something like that. Is that okay? But yeah, obviously, because you're doing something, you're representing yourself, you're there to benefit people, help people. So, obviously, ethics is a big part of thing. And it's funny because in the beginning, and I was just focusing on stage hypnosis, that first time when you're experiencing, hypnotizing people and you're having that reaction,
Right.
there's almost of this little part of you is like, oh wow, this really
Right.
works, and especially when it comes to, doing stuff on stage, you want to make sure that you're presenting people, in a good light. They're not going to do, they're not going to wake up an hour later, they're going to be naked or anything, like that.
Right.
So,
Yeah. We're going streaking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Like,
because you can doesn't mean that you should. So,
Right. Yeah.
oh,
But
well,
it's got to be hard not to have that I have the power He-Man moment when you're on
Oh,
stage,
God, yeah, dude.
especially with all those people.
yeah. And, I think once you get to that point where, where you've done enough shows that I have, you kind of
Right.
have that respect and you know how to, frame it. But yeah, early on when you see it, you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is great. I could do all kinds of, funny stuff. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, I mean, and now who do you think has been your toughest person? Like, I know you say, you said you do a lot of corporate gigs, and you've done the cruises and stuff like that. Who was your toughest person that you thought to get hypnotized?
I don't know that I think that there was, a person that was the toughest. Because the thing is if, if somebody when you've got people on stage, I probably have 5, 7, if it's a longer show, maybe 10 minutes to do, a hypnotic induction, and you've got 10, 20, maybe even 30 people, on the stage. You can't mess around focusing, on one or two people. You're not going to look at somebody and go, oh, I'm going to get this person. I'm going to make it work. It's like you're going to dismiss them from the stage. So
Right.
Yeah.
you want the people on the stage that are going to be,
That are
they're open, they're
open.
willing, they're,
Yeah.
they're compliant, they're following along. But the interesting thing is that I learned early on is to never, ever, ever judge anybody, right? Because
Right.
somebody might come up on, you might have somebody on stage and you might go, oh, that person, oh, they're going to be great. They're going to just go right under. Or somebody else, you're going to go, oh, that person's going to be, I'm going to get rid of them right away. And then it's the weirdest thing. And it's like the opposite, the
Yeah.
person that you thought was really good. You wind up dismissing the person you thought you didn't want anything to do with, they're a great volunteer. So you just always have to kind of keep, that open mind. Now I have had a few, tougher experiences with some,
Yeah.
interesting groups, because when I was just starting out,
Right.
I was I was doing a lot of gigs in comedy clubs, and that sort of thing, because I was able to kind of take, my connections from stand-up comedy and say, call the bookers and the managers and the clubs and say, hey, guess what? I've got this now and I'm doing the stage hypnosis. And I realized early on, there's some comedy clubs probably not, depending on the venue, probably not the best place, to,
Yeah.
to do, you know, there was one place up in the Pacific Northwest that I just, it was one of those shows where I just left, and, I'm just like, I don't ever want to, I want to use hypnosis on myself, not to remember these people.
Right.
Yeah, I've done a little stand up and I think I've been in that crowd. So I know exactly what you're talking about. You're just like, wow, this was probably the worst decision of my life to be here.
Yeah.
Now, are you planning on doing any more cruises? Are you just sticking basically to the corporate gigs now? What do we got going on for you here in the future, man?
I've been really fortunate that since when the lockdowns and everything happened, my YouTube channel was up and running and everything was going well there. So during the course of the lockdowns, I was able to just keep that momentum going and and grow my channel. And I've loved just putting out content and being creative on YouTube. And so I actually, though, I did do, because I thought, I think I'll kind of semi-retire from performing and being out there, because I don't have to, and I just want to do what I love to do. But the last month though, I did agree to do my, my first show in like 2 years. I did a university show.
Oh, nice.
And it was a lot of fun. And then of course I've got a few graduation events for some high schools,
Oh,
planned,
there you
for
go.
graduates. So I'm doing that. So I'm just, kind of getting myself out there doing something that I think this will be, this will be fun. This will be a good audience, and the money's, good. I'm willing to go out there and, do it for that. So
Hey man, paying gig's a paying gig. Now, and Pascal actually asked a good question. Blah, blah, blah. Would you ever subject yourself to be a hypnotist on stage, or hypnotized on
to
stage?
be hypnotized?
Yeah.
Though the people that have hypnotized me, were my friends who were hypnotists as well as stage, hypnotists as well. So I went through the training. I was, hypnotized in front of a group of people. I don't know. I don't know that I would volunteer, because I would probably feel like I was a plant or a ringer up there,
Sure.
for somebody.
Yeah.
And especially given the fact that, I mean, I can go down into, a state of hypnosis, incredibly quickly, now. So it's easy for me whether I'm doing it alone or if I've done it like in those, the group session. I don't know that I would willingly, volunteer. And
Right.
the other thing too is I don't know that I could be coerced into that, or, instantly hypnotized, because of the fact that I already kind of know what's going on.
I was going to
there
say,
and the
you
thought
already,
process.
yeah, you've already got your
Yeah.
mind set on the fact of being the hypnotizer, not the
Yeah.
hypnotizee. And so all the triggers that are going to put you into that state.
That made me think of something really funny. A few years ago, a friend of mine, I went and saw a show. He was doing a county fair, and he was doing something where he'd give the volunteers suggestions to go out in the audience. Like, you're going to think this person is that, and you're going to do. And he told these girls, he goes, the guy with the shaved head over there, you're going to think he's the sexiest bald man alive, and you're going to go over there, and these girls come over, right? They're like rubbing the top of my head, and they're screaming, oh, and I stood up to these, and I had these girls in front of me, and I went, sleep. And they went right down. And then I'm like, you're going to go over to because he goes by the Hypno Hick, right? He's got a cowboy.
Yeah.
You're going to go over to the guy with the cowboy hat and tell him he's the sexiest cowboy you've ever seen. And, the hypnotist, my buddy's out there doing it. And all of a sudden these girls come up and they're like, we love you. And then he took him a second to realize what happened. But he realized I turned the tables on him. And yes, Pascal asked if anybody in the audience goes out. Yes, that has happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, you have people that go out in the audience, which is really kind of a funny thing. That
I was going to say, do you mess with them when that happens? He's like, hey.
Yeah, sometimes I'll, depending on what I've got going on, if I got a lot of people on stage, I've brought people up on stage, because if I've dismissed a few people from the stage and I've got the chairs, then it's like I'll bring them up.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I might give them a suggestion. You're just going to watch the show in the audience, but every time you hear me say my name, John Moyer, you're going to stand up and cheer for me, or you're going to stand up and boo me, or
Yeah.
That typically though happens with high school students and university students. And it's just so funny. And it's funny because my wife, she gets super stressed out because she'll be there watching the show, and then she looks at, she's like, oh my God, we've got 20 people that are going out in the audience. How are we going to have to, because I'll have her deal with me on that. I'm like, you go over there and you talk to these 10 people. I'll take care of these 10 people.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So yeah, that's, and they're not just drunk. They're actually just hypnotized. So
Yeah.
wow. Because I just remember my college days, and okay. So now where exactly can we find you again? What let's get some plugs out, because we got a lot of people watching right now, and we're gonna have the audio going out tomorrow. So I want to make sure everybody knows how to get a hold of you or check you out and do whatever they need to do with you. So where are we going at now?
Biggest platform to find me obviously is on YouTube. So just, John Moyer or John Moyer Hypnosis on YouTube. You'll find me there. My website's johnmoyer.com. And then of course that's got, more stuff about me and some more videos of my show and stuff in there. And then it's got all the, the links to go to, Instagram, John Moyer, Twitter @John Moyer. They can find me on all those places.
And not the bass player. It
not
is John
the bass player. It's John Moyer.
Yeah.
Or John Moyer Hypnosis on Facebook as well.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. I found that out. And it's Moyer.
That
just
is correct.
in case for everybody listening that can't see the spelling here on the live stream. All right. So now what do you got due up for you next right now, John? What's going on?
As soon as we wrap up here, I am going to record my next piece of content for YouTube that I plan to get out probably next Monday. So yeah, I'm going to
Excellent.
do that and just keep cranking that out. But yeah, I do have a few shows down the road, but for the most part, I'm very content, very happy, and blessed to just be able to hang out at home in a dark room
Right.
and
Yes.
record and talk into this microphone.
Yeah.
And as
buddy.
your eyes close and you find yourself relaxing there, feeling so good.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, all right. No,
Oh,
dude, this
sorry.
is so cool. And okay, now just the YouTube through your website, will you be willing to do some one-on-one things or some group things through that, or you're just not even open to that really?
Yeah, it's with everything, some people think if somebody's a really good hypnotist, they can do anything. But one of the things that I found is, like I know people that are great street hypnotists, right? They go up and then I've
Yeah.
seen them do their show, and it's like I'm falling asleep from watching, your show.
Right. Yeah.
And I found for me, I love, I feel like I'm in the sweet spot. I'm in the
Yeah.
flow. And I do want to say really quick, my cousin Lori from Jersey just chimed in, and I think I may be
Jersey.
doing Jersey. I think I may my sister Bonnie is trying to talk me into doing another show for her lodge. So I may be doing a show in Jersey. But yeah, I love doing what I'm doing. It's
Excellent.
going. I feel passionate about it. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of cool hanging out here in the sweet spot. So
Yeah,
but
dude.
I may do a show for the Shriners in Jersey, FYI.
There you go.
Oh, right on. So,
Yeah.
so you said you got a couple things coming up. Can you
Mhm.
talk about any of them so we can get
Yeah.
it out there for people?
Yeah, just the stuff that I've got going on relative to live performances are just going to be some high school graduation shows. It's the thing where the kids graduate, they lock them in the community center all night, so they're not going out and getting into shenanigans. And like I'm doing the show at like 2 a.m, so now I'm trying not to fall asleep, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just that, and then of course, constantly putting out content on YouTube. So.
Yeah, dude. Right on.
That's
All right.
great, man.
Well,
That's
hey,
so cool.
listen, I know you said you were good for about an hour or so. We've kind of gone over that, so I really appreciate you staying with us.
You guys were a lot of
Um,
fun, so I appreciate it.
hey, man, we do a little thing that we like to call, where is it? Random questions of insanity. Would you like to play along with us, sir?
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I may regret that, but we'll see, I suppose.
Yeah. They're
Yeah, I really
pretty
got to work on
harmless.
the sensitivity soundboard there because that was way delayed. All right, so let's we have a couple mainstays that we always go with, which is what is your favorite James Bond movie?
Boy, my favorite. I don't even know that I like any James Bond movie.
Ooh, okay.
No,
That's
pass on that one.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
Okay.
hey, there is no wrong answer. So
Yeah.
That's right.
we will get you in a hypnosis class, so you will start enjoying the
Okay,
James
all right.
Bond movies. Let's see. What is your what is your favorite sandwich that you make? That's your John Moyer sandwich. If you could make any sandwich that's your sandwich, what is it? Bread to bread.
I will make turkey and bacon on keto
Oh, yeah.
bread with Swiss.
Okay.
But it's got to be keto bread.
Oh,
All right.
oh, okay. Like it. Mustard, mayonnaise.
I will do Miracle Whip because a sandwich
Ooh.
just is not a sandwich
Without the Miracle Whip.
without Miracle Whip.
And
Oh,
we're
that's
getting
great.
a plug for there we go. We'll
There
get
we
them to
go.
sponsor us now. The
Yeah.
Random Christian Show sponsored by Miracle Whip with John Moyer. Okay.
Because a
let's see.
podcast just isn't a podcast without Miracle Whip.
Yeah.
Boom. That's true. Okay, let's see. Let me hit you with a couple others here. Who wins in a fight? Picard or Kirk?
Picard, because he would rip off Kirk's hair.
Oh, I like it.
Whoa,
I like
that's
it.
two bald old guys going at it. All right. And by the way, William Shatner, happy birthday. You just turned 91.
That's right.
Let's see. If you could ride a unicycle, would you feel that you are better than others? And how would it change your life? And would you feel superior to others?
I would not feel superior to others because I strive to not come from a space of ego. and but it would be good exercise. So, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
there
right.
you go.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Which superpower would you not want?
Which superpower would I not want?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know that I need to climb walls because if you're Superman, you can just fly up there, right? So
There you go.
I don't need like Spider-Man wall climbing stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I like it. Doo-doo. No, that one doesn't work. I was
Well,
gonna say.
actually, I have an edit. I have an edit for one of our normal
Oh,
ones.
okay. Go ahead.
What? So the normal question is, what celebrity would you like to punch in the face? However,
Mm,
the edit here is, what celebrity would you love to hypnotize?
What
Ah.
celebrity would I love to hypnotize? I think I would love to hypnotize. Oh, that is a good question. Because there's so many ways to, to go. Are we talking,
Right.
you know, I would actually, this is true. I would love to hypnotize Patrick Stewart. So Captain Picard.
There you go.
So
Oh.
there
All
you
right.
go.
Okay.
Now, what would you hypnotize him for?
I would hypnotize him to experience what it was like to be out in the Delta Quadrant on Voyager with Captain Janeway.
Oh,
I love it.
yeah, dude.
I love
That's,
it.
that brings this into play now. If it works, let's see. No?
I am too sexy for my love.
Yeah.
Too
All
sexy
right.
for my love,
Picard.
love.
Okay. All right. My bad. All right. I'll leave it alone. Okay. Let's see. Let's go with one more here. Because you do, this is a good one. You're a mad scientist. What scientific experiment would you run if money and ethics weren't an issue?
What scientific
Boom.
experiments would I run if money and ethics were not an issue? It probably has to go back. It would just be, growing hair. I think that's really what it would be. The experiment having hair.
Yes, we all seem to be in that spot. Well,
I
Well,
have
not
no
Andy.
idea what you guys are talking
Yeah.
about.
Andy's got a full head of hair. You freak. That's all you are. And Matt's right there with us, our director extraordinaire. All right. John, this has been absolutely awesome. I would love to have you back on sometime. And is it possible maybe if like we got a couple people to volunteer, you could maybe do a little hypnosis with them through the interweb, or does that not work well?
It's like when I show up at house parties and it's like, John's a hypnotist, everybody,
Right,
gather around
yeah.
and see what we can do. But no, I don't want to hypnotize people on the interweb. But
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to just bloviate and talk about hypnosis in the mind.
Yeah, dude.
I could come back next time and we can talk about alternate realities, parallel realities.
Oh yeah.
Reality
okay.
shifting, law of attraction. We can talk about all that stuff relative to the mind.
Now we're gonna get
Yeah.
into all
Now
my
you're talking my
philosophy,
game there.
philosophy classes I took in college that really panned out to nothing while I was high. So, but it was great while I was high. I'll tell you that much. All right, John. Well, again, YouTube channel is John Moyer. Just
Hypnosis.
Yeah, just look up
Yeah,
John Moyer or
hypnosis.
John Moyer hypnosis. So yeah.
okay,
Okay.
and you're on
And
Facebook.
we'll link that from our site too. when we
I was
post
going
the
to say
video.
we're going to have it all linked up on the website. John, thank you so much. You were fantastic, and couldn't be happier. Please make sure you come back again, and everybody make sure to check out Mr. John Moyer, ladies and gentlemen. John
John, thank you so much.
Moyer.
Namaste. Thank you, guys.
See you, buddy.
Take care.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Such
dude.
a cool guy.
Oh, dude, this was. And thank you, Pascal. You great.
Yeah.
Dude, because I seriously, there was so many like ethical things and philosophical. So that's cool. He wants to come back and do that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
and I'm gonna have all this free time for the next couple of months to
That's true.
study up on my philosophical things and whatnot. So yeah. I can help tap into some of that. That'd be kind of fun and kind of sexy. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And let's just mix things up here a little bit and
We'll do it live.
yeah.
Do it live.
We're gonna mash up "I'm Too Sexy" with I'll Do It Live. There you go. I like it.
Yeah, we do need to get some extra applause
I
on
will.
the
I will.
soundboard.
I will work on that. I will work on the applause.
Oh God, dude, yeah.
But
I
yeah,
could
no,
have,
John's such a cool guy and such a great guest, and it's just neat. You know, I always get fascinated with some of the people that we interview that is what they do for a living, and the fact that he's, you know, that he can just sort of, you know, sit in his studio and talk and help people like go to sleep. And then zap one person not to eat chocolate for 4 years, you know, and
right,
that's just
dude,
it's
that's
incredible.
amazing. That's so
it's great.
cool.
So,
and I mean, I love all the applications that he can do with this just by tapping into the, you know, the subconscious part of your mind and being
Right.
so helpful, because there are a lot of people that that's all it takes is just that little nudge to help them out. I know people who have quit smoking through hypnosis and whatnot.
Yeah.
And but then there's other people, oh, I just can't do it. I can't do it. But you know,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can sit there and it's
yeah.
it's kind of this weird gray area that, you know, you can, and it can go so dark so quick, but you know, he focuses so much on the positive, and that's what I love about it. And I think it's great you know, that he offers it through the YouTube. And I sound like a grandparent. Hey, we appreciate through the YouTube and,
through
and it's on the,
you know, that good stuff.
The Facebook and the Insta Google and yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah, you know, it's sometimes it's hard to get character through talking to someone, you know, online and stuff, but you totally get it just talking to him.
Yeah. And
you know, and that's just good.
He's super positive about it and treats it with the great respect that it does deserve, because I'm sure there's some people there that can, you know, really take it to the wrong place at the wrong time and whatnot.
Are you saying with great power comes great responsibility?
Yes. That was awesome. Yes. There it is. Oh my God. I got to get a better soundboard.
Thank you so much, Pascal. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We really, really
Pascal, loving you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, hope you're a regular
awesome.
watcher on the show. Next week, we're going to have a kind of a mishmash, just kind of fun, old school, random style
podcast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's
Right.
almost midnight in the Netherlands. Oh, good Lord, girl, go get some sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting next week for sure. In fact, Matt, where's Matt? There's Matt.
Hey.
Hi-oh.
You are silent.
Yeah, you are silent, Matt. There he is.
And now I'm not.
Oh, good Lord Almighty.
Am I blowing your brain out again?
Yeah, you are. You must have knocked your microphone. So, Matt, you're going to be checking out some YouTube videos here soon and getting a little hypnosis going with you, bro?
No.
Fine. Whatever.
For
You're
what?
no fun at parties anyway.
I know I'm fat. I know how to remedy it.
No, I was figuring maybe, you know, that way you can get a dog.
No, I'm
I know you're a cat person.
I was actually gonna do it for to quit smoking.
Oh really?
Yeah. That was the plan, and then I took up vaping instead.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
and that worked. Luckily.
That's good.
All
But,
right.
I've got nothing against the hypnosis. It's a valuable tool.
Yes. Oh no, dude. I think it's great. I'm actually going to go check out some of his YouTube stuff here. Like I said,
I'm curious to see what it is. Yeah.
I do what you guys tell me. I don't mess around and dig too deep on any of the guests anymore, so that way I don't get over knowledge. And yeah, I know, Matt. Thank you. And Pascal, we would love to have you on here some more. So yes, please make sure you join us. We're every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Central Time, roughly 4-ish.
4-ish. I
Central
think that's
time.
a good
4-ish
Central Time.
4-ish is a good one.
Yeah.
Andy, what do you got coming up on Rum and Regrets this week?
We are recording tonight, and we are taking a page out of the random book. There's no set topic. We're just gonna chat.
Oh.
So it's a general general discussion of what's what,
All right. And so you're gonna have us on maybe eventually here soon?
No,
since we'll have
definitely now.
free time?
Okay,
No,
you know
not
what?
at all.
Matt's in. So Matt's in my time zone, so I don't feel guilty about it. You're
Right.
not. I felt guilty about it, but now that you don't have to be up at the butt crack of dawn for the next couple weeks,
Yeah, that's right.
I can, now I'm feeling better about it. So
Yeah. So we'll have some. Yeah, and
Yeah.
let's do it after like next week, so that way I've got some
right.
pain
No,
pills.
we'll get you. Yeah.
You man, you far out, dude.
Get you feeling good, baby.
Yeah.
I like Hello Kitty and coffee. Okay.
Two of my favorite things.
And the week following, let's give that a quick plug. Who are we having? Not this week, but next week was oh my gosh, I can't remember.
Demetrius.
Oh, that is going to be so cool. Demetrius, he's got his own universe. He's got action figures. He's got a comic line. He's got movies. In fact, he sent me a bunch of stuff. They are award-winning movies. Like, he's been nailing it at all these movie festivals and whatnot. So, yeah, he's got a lot to talk about. Very psyched out. In fact, I was on Facebook Messenger talking with him the other night, and he sent me a bunch of stuff. He's like, here, use this for your promos and whatnot. So, yeah, Demetrius Witherspoon, basically considered the next Gene Roddenberry from a lot of people. Gene Roddenberry wrote Star Trek, if nobody remembers that. So yeah, very excited to have that. And there. Okay, sorry, I was trying to get rid of the chat. I think I need new batteries in my mouse. All right, guys. Well, next week you'll see me in a whole new light, laying in bed, and Andy's going to be running the show, so it'll be the Random Andy Kristian show.
Do you have a green sheet to play on? Or to put behind you somehow next week?
Yeah, put the green sheets on.
Put on Mr. Green Jeans. No, but it'll be seeing me from my bed and be look all fancy cool. I'll try and wear some cool pajamas or something.
There you go.
Just wear pants, please.
Yeah. It's just I'm not wearing pants now. Want to see?
Yeah, we can't make that guarantee.
Yeah, but
I'm leaving it alone.
No.
And that's a show. So all right, guys. Heyo. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for checking us out. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, review, pass the word around. Again, thank you to Consolidated Skateboards. They are on their final grand tour. They just released their last edition graphics on their last skateboard that they're making, and there's limited editions. So go to www.consolidatedskate8brds.com, and you can check them out there and see what they've got left. And also, Neil Getzlow, thank you so much for sponsoring this show. The Dead Campers just dropped another song on their website and also on Spotify. Thank you very much. So make sure you go and check that out. For everybody else, again, Rum and Regrets will be dropping this Friday. That's Andy's show. And Matthew, thank you very much for hanging out with us, sir. Your direction,
course,
as always, was fantastic. And Andrew, we will see you next week as well, sir. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. And for everybody else out there, make sure you're good to each other. Be cool, be kind, help each other out. We're all we've got, so let's take care of each other. We'll see you next week, kids. Have a great weekend. Peace.